The former Attorney General for the Virgin Islands, Denise George, was fired last week. The firing came 4 days after her office sued J.P. Morgan Chase for its dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. This is according to the New York Times. This fueled media speculation that that was the immediate cause. But the Times writes that months of tensions between George and the U.S. territory's Governor Albert Bryan Jr. over the investigation into Epstein is what led to her firing, according to people briefed on the matter.
The Times reports that this tension was partly tied to Bryan feeling that George did not keep him apprised about the investigation in a timely manner. George did not address the speculation about the reason for the firing to the New York Times, but she defended her decision to sue J.P. Morgan. Richard Moda, a spokesperson for Bryan, said in an email to the Times that the media reports indicating the J.P. Morgan lawsuit as the reason for George's firing are, quote, not entirely accurate. J.P. Morgan declined the Times' request for comment.
What if it just occurs to this guy that this is going to look fishy? Regardless, because of it's an Epstein-related thing.
This was dropped at the end of the New York Times article that feels relevant. Apparently, quote, before becoming governor, Mr. Bryan was the chairman of the economic development agency that had awarded lucrative tax benefits to one of Mr. Epstein's companies. The idea being that there are financial implications for every powerful person in the country. Look, this is a country, as we talked about last time, that largely profits as a tax haven. And so regardless of if it's about this specific lawsuit against J.P. Morgan, the idea that the Department of Justice is complicating matters, these prosecutions are complicating matters for people who are making money and, enriching the company from relationships with these questionable people who have been convicted of crimes. There's an obvious conflict of interest there, regardless, far-reaching beyond the specific lawsuit of J.P. Morgan. It's also worth noting that this article gives some more details about what the lawsuit is about that I think are relevant, because when we discussed this last time,
we didn't really know.
There was some, it was I think still largely redacted or hadn't been fully disclosed. I forget which, but in late December, Ms. George sued J.P. Morgan, claiming that the bank was derelict in providing banking services to Mr. Epstein during the time he was charged with sexually abusing teenagers and young women at Little St. James and elsewhere in the United States. So we weren't sure of whether or not J.P. Morgan, because J.P. Morgan had claimed that they had stopped dealing with him at the time that he was being convicted of things.
And then you said the first time or the second time?
Exactly. People forget about the first time. It went on to say that the lawsuit accused J.P. Morgan of facilitating and concealing wire and cash transactions that should have raised suspicions that Mr. Epstein was engaging in the sexual trafficking of teen girls and young women, saying that the bank turned a, quote, blind eye to Mr. Epstein's conduct because it was profitable. Yeah. Meanwhile, convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly teaching etiquette classes and yoga classes in prison to try to rebrand herself as a female role model. A flyer for the class allegedly reads, "Taught by Mrs. Maxwell, this course teaches the 3 principles of etiquette, focusing on respect, consideration, and honesty."
Sources told the Daily Mail that she has been teaching her class in English and Spanish, and she references Hillary Clinton as an example of a powerful woman, quote, smashing barriers.
There's a phrase that kids use, keep my name out of your mouth. I suspect that Hillary Clinton is not wild about being referenced in that flyer, in those classes.
Oh, so stunning and brave. No, look, I don't know what we're going to make of this. She's in prison. She has the right to, have a life behind bars. I don't care that she's teaching etiquette. She's not. We don't believe in torturing and making people suffer.
Sure. It is an interesting choice, branding choice, especially because we saw in her defense, part of it was trying to exploit this idea of kind of women's lib and women's rights and identity politics to insulate her against the crime she's accused of and convicted of, which is facilitating the sex trafficking of young girls. I'm not sure that feminism or girl power is saying when it comes to exploiting children, women can do it too. And that is, I think, what makes it.
She should be teaching drawing. Remember that great sketch of her sketching the sketch artist?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, it was haunting. It was very weird.
Many haunting things about this story.
I'll show it to you after. Tomorrow on Rising, Prince Harry is going scorched earth on members of his own family, the royal family, but won't renounce his royal title. We will get into that with some friends of the show with Angie Speaks. So tune into that.
Yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who prefer to listen while on the go, we are available anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, always in your ear, no matter what the context, no matter where you are. Robby and Briahna are here on the case, delivering you news and all of the things you want to know about what's happening in the world. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya. I like that. I like that exit lewd. Bye-bye.
Bye.